1993. NASA's multi-billion-dollar space telescope Hubble is malfunctioning.
What had happened was that the mirror was ever so slightly out from what it had been designed for, and this was just enough to make these images almost useless.
Hubble is the laughingstock of the scientific world.
You can imagine the disappointment when the very first images that came back from this billion-dollar mission were so fuzzy. So with this fantastically expensive telescope in jeopardy, NASA felt that it had to mount an urgent mission to try and fix the telescope actually in orbit.
Astronaut Story Musgrave is part of the crew tasked with the audacious repair mission.
I view it as a public machine. I'm taking care of the public's machine. Now, the expectations are high.
The mission to repair Hubble's faulty optics and damaged solar arrays will take 11 days and require 5 separate, highly dangerous spacewalks.
It's a vacuum, it's temperature, it's radiation, and it's hypervelocity debris. That's a disaster, very, very fast.
It was a very high-stakes mission, but for NASA, it was a crisis.
The crowning glory of NASA's Space Observatory program, Hubble is floating uselessly in orbit. Musgrave and the crew need to salvage not just the telescope, but NASA's reputation in the eyes of the world.
My job was to identify every possible failure it can get into and come up with tools and the procedures to get that job done.
But no amount of planning can prepare Musgrave for what happens during a 6.5-hour spacewalk on day 5 of the mission.
All of a sudden, boom, there's an object that came from nowhere.
The object appears to fly by the telescope at high speed. Seconds later, another on a different trajectory, again close to the telescope and shuttle crew.
Well, it just moved from behind the shadow, and it moved into the sunlight, and there it is.
No one comments on the objects. The crew completes their repairs, and Hubble exceeds all expectations.
We wanted to know what's going on out there. Here we finally had the opportunity. We've got this magnificent telescope in orbit.
I am still astounded by what Hubble can do. Even when you think you know a galaxy, when you know a star cluster, Hubble takes a picture of it and suddenly there are things there that you just didn't expect to see.
But analysis of mission footage leads some to wonder whether this astronomical breakthrough had unforeseen consequences.
Consider, how much was Hubble a game changer? We were suddenly able to see parts of the universe that were actually invisible to us. If you were an extraterrestrial civilization, wouldn't you want to know more about what that object could see?
NASA's Jim Oberg believes the anomaly's origin can be traced back to Hubble itself.